What's up, everybody? Oh my gosh, this is the first time I've done a live show in a very long time, so bear with me. I am so excited to be here. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, we're going to get right into it. Trent Williams was practicing yesterday. I saw him dancing on the field with George Kittle and looking fresh as fuck. He is the difference maker. A lot of Seahawks fans actually have been coming at me and being like, oh, you guys have lost 3 in a row because you don't have your offensive lineman, offensive tackle there, blah, blah, blah. They haven't been winning that much either. Last week, they got absolutely disheveled by the Ravens. It was 37-3, so they can zip it. Anyways, he's a difference maker along with Deebo Samuel, who on the Kay Adams Up and Adams show said that he's good to go for this weekend, which I'm so stoked on. You guys know how much I love Deebo. He's everything. Absolutely pumped for him. We also made a huge trade about an hour and a half before the trade deadline on October 31st to unite Nick Bosa with his former Ohio State teammate Chase Young, the number 2 draft pick overall in the 2020 NFL draft. He's somebody that I actually begged John Lynch to acquire, and obviously John Lynch was looking at my Twitter because boom, all of a sudden it happened. I was so happy. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I'm still absolutely buzzing from it. We haven't been able to watch a game yet with him on the field, and obviously that's happening this weekend, which is so exciting. Now, we were on a bit of a downward spiral. We can blame it on Brock Purdy's concussed head. We can say it was all because of Steve Wilkes and him calling all the defensive plays from up in that damn booth. We can say that it was because I don't live in San Francisco. I know a lot of you guys think that I do. I don't. I live in Italy. Before this, I didn't live in Italy. I lived in Canada, never San Francisco. Anyways, 49ers are just not playing like their usual selves. All of these things can be true, but we've now got an opponent who is sitting pretty atop the AFC South, who is on a hot streak, just like we were, 5-0. They were on 5-0 this past 5 games that they played. They have not lost one ever since the London games, and I saw them in London, actually, which is crazy. We are heading to Jacksonville to see if we can somehow stop them, to put out that fire, that blazing hot streak that they are on. It's Jags Week, baby. So, what's up, guys? It's your girl, Chrissy, and this is Crystal Ballin', a show in which I preview the 49ers schedule by interviewing an analyst from the opposing team with a sprinkle of spicy start and sit suggestions for your fantasy lineups, too. Okay, whether you're watching live, which is the first time ever I'm doing this, listening on Spotify after this, I appreciate the hell out of you. Let's get into it. Now, I've had the pleasure of watching Trevor Lawrence. As I was saying, I was at the London games. I think it was October 9th, I want to say. I can't remember. I'm terrible with dates, but pretty sure it was like the 9th or something. I got to see his luscious locks in London versus the Bills for the NFL London games. Jacksonville took home a bit of jet lag and a huge dub against Buffalo with a 25-20 victory. The crowd was electric. It was absolutely stunning there. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the NFL London games, but they're amazing. It's one of those things where you just feel like, you know, even though your team is not playing, they're kind of playing, if that makes sense. I was wearing my McCaffrey jersey, obviously, and other people that were there. And, you know, obviously there were a lot of Jags fans. There was the guy that did his face makeup all like the Jaguar, which is crazy. And like, he's actually been shown on a lot on TV. And my guest has tweeted about this person too. So I'm so excited. There were tons of fans. There were tons of Buffalo fans. Obviously, Buffalo thought they were going to get the win. They've been looking a little shaky, I'm not going to lie. But it's fine. It's fine. Jags are on that 5-win winning streak, which we all know how that felt. Something the 49ers can relate to. But if history repeats itself, the 49ers in their humble bye week with Brock Purdy's tractor pulling on his fiance's family's farm and Nick Bosa teaching our newly acquired Chase Young the ropes and getting him into the facility and staying behind on his bye week, which everyone's like, oh, he always does that. I don't give a shit. Honestly, I'm just happy to see that he's in the facility. He's doing something on time. Let's not talk about, you know, training camp and the holdout, the great holdout of Nick Bosa. No, we potentially also have big Trent Williams coming back onto the offensive line as our tackle. So then Purdy has that time in the pocket to make his little mistakes if he wants to. He's not going to make any mistakes. We're not even going to go down that road. Oh, baby. This might be the 5-game losing streak snap that we are finally going to hand to the Jaguars. No, 5-game winning streak. Sorry. We're going to give them their first loss. I'm hoping their L. We're going to let them take home that L, or they're already going to be home. We're going to be in Jacksonville for this game, which I'm so excited. My guest is actually going to be at the game as well. We're just going to be waiting for her to join us. So I'm so excited to have her come through. Oh my God, look, we've got some amazing people. Yes, you guys, for once I can actually comment about what's going on here. This is amazing, isn't it? Beautiful sister. Hello. What's up, Cam? Oh, you're so sweet. I got the red lipstick on. I'm in my Taylor Swift era. No, we're not going to go down that road. Yes. Niners are back with a bang after the bye. I really hope so, man. Honestly, it's been one of those things that I'm like, okay, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? I don't know. But I have to be optimistic. I'm optimistic without a fault. Like, honestly, this is just how I am. You guys like this new setup, by the way? I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So I'm just going to kind of talk to you guys until I see my guest backstage, and then I'll give her a little shout out and we'll get to it. How are you guys feeling? That bye week, honestly, was refreshing. I think all of us needed it. I was, joking around with my dad and everything. He's a Raiders fan, and he's like giving me shit about the season. And I'm like, bro, look at what you guys have. And honestly, this was the time when they were firing their coach. And then obviously they benched Jimmy Garoppolo, which is my guy. Like I feel bad even saying it, but they had to. I think like it was at the point where we've had enough of the Jimmy G show, right? Anyways, I know there were a lot of people in Niners Twitter that were saying that Brock Purdy should also be benched. And I'm not there. I believe that I think as a team sport, every single cylinder should be clicking in order to get the dub. I don't think it should solely fall on the quarterback, who has to do so much as is, and let alone the dude just suffered a concussion the game before. After that, he kind of looked disheveled. Obviously, I think like he came back to the game a little bit too soon. Maybe he should have taken the rest, the R&R. I was all for Sam Darnold coming out. I don't know about you guys. Like it was a Halloween weekend game just before Halloween. And I'm like, yeah, put him out there. He sees ghosts anyways. It's kind of on point for Halloween. But they obviously rode with Brock Purdy, ended up losing that game. And my Twitter just went bananas. Everybody was like, oh, the Niners clearly aren't it, blah, blah, blah. 3-game losing streak. They can't do anything without Trent Williams. Trent Williams is somebody that I absolutely look up to as a player. I think I've said this before. On the field, he does the thing. He's dominant. The Niners win when he's out there. Also, can I just say that he obviously is like a team guy, because anytime there's any kind of situation, any kind of shit, he gets right in there and he shows face, right? So I think he's just one of those dominant players. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Is everything working all Gucci gang? I have this new little setup. My dad came over today and set me up like this, so I'm hoping that this is all good. I'm excited for the game. I feel like the bye week was one of those things that like you forget that you're playing football still. It's one of like I enjoyed my bye week thoroughly. My daughter was having, she had an ear infection, and then this week's just been a little chaos. Like she literally has a situation with her face. Like she's been starting to walk and everything. She fell down, so now she's got a couple little bruises and scratches, and it's really sad to watch a little tiny human go through something like this. So it's just not been the greatest week. Not been the greatest couple weeks, I'm not gonna lie. It's been very testing as a mother. Like I shout out to people who have more than one kid, because one is a lot. I can't even lie to you guys. But I'm really looking forward to the game this weekend. I'm also going back to the homeland pretty soon. Back to Vancouver, back to my roots. I don't know if you guys know this. I am from Vancouver, Canada, and I'm now living in Italy. I have not been back home to Vancouver to visit my daughter or to visit my family and show them my daughter yet. So this is very exciting. We're going to be leaving next Thursday and staying for about 3 weeks, which is awesome. And we're squeaking in. I don't know if you guys have seen this. We are squeaking in a 49ers game and taking our daughter to see a 49ers game for the first time ever, which is so exciting. I cannot wait. I'm going to wear the Bjorn. Just going to be rocking some kind of probably a Christian McCaffrey situation. I don't know how cold it is there, but we're definitely going to. What's that? We're definitely going to have her. Oh my God. What's up, BJ? I've not done a live show in a while, so it's exciting to have you guys in here and like actually be able to talk to you. My guest is going to be joining shortly. I think I just sent her the email with the link. We'll see. But she'll be coming on soon. I'm excited for you guys. Can you take a guess at who she is? Listen, I'm wearing the spots. I have this scarf because I went to the NFL London games and I obviously had to buy something. Can I tell you guys a really ridiculous story, by the way? Let me take a sip. This is not coffee. This is Trey Lance sad. It's wine. We're having a bit of wine because it's been a week. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, so this scarf that's here, I did not want to buy this scarf because I'm one of those people that's like, I don't want any kind of memorabilia in my house unless it's 49ers. 49ers everything, right? We're at the game and I brought my little like Lululemon fanny pack, right? Bum bag, they call them in London. And I went to the NFL London games 2 years ago. No problem, brought the fanny pack. It was all good. No issue. I go this time and we're doing interviews and everything. And I'm interviewing people about like the London games. I'm asking them, what's up? Why are you here? Why are you cheering for this team? I got to talk to a Bears fan. I talked to a Cowboys fan, like all these different people because the London games are awesome. Like nobody's just wearing the two teams that are playing. They're wearing their team that they represent. Tons of Niners fans there. I talked to the faithful. It was great. Anyways, I go in after I do all my interviews and everything. And the security people were like, no, you're not coming in here. Why? Why can't I come in? This bum bag's not allowed. You have to check it. And now we had checked everything. We checked like coats and everything because I didn't want to walk around doing interviews with these coats. And they're like, no, can't bring the bum bag. So I'm like, okay, but when we checked everything, bum bag was fine. Nobody had any issues with the bum bag. Anyways, I go to all these different gates, did not want to let it go. I literally had to go back to the friggin' checked baggage area, check the bum bag. So then I go through this like an hour situation that we're dealing with, which already like the NFL London games are awesome, but I was kind of bummed about this. No pun intended with the bum bag. Anyways, we're going through the gate. What do you know? There's a girl in front of me, literally wearing the same Lululemon bum bag. They let her go through. They did not let me go through. And I was like, man, come on. I'm wearing cowboy boots. I thought for sure they're judging me off my cowboy boots, but it's fine. It was all good in the end. It all came down to, I got to see the Jaguars versus the Bills. Jaguars took a big win. I'm excited to talk about that. Anyways, now my next guest is the definition of a Jaguars fan. Like I was saying, I talked to some really cool Jaguars fan when I was in London. I talked to the guy that paints his face and he literally looks like a kitty cat. He's crazy. So my guest, she rocks a full leopard onesie to the game with 0 fucks given. She'll be attending the game this Sunday, actually, so keep an eye out for her. She works for NESN, which is New England Sports Network. I had to look that up because I'm not from the States. I did not know. Sorry. She goes live on the airwaves on 98.3 The Sports Hub, which is so cool because I used to work for a place called the BC Sports Hub, which is kind of weird. She's a sports broadcaster for Dirty Water Media and even is one half of the Saturdays and Seltzers podcast. Her dog is also incredibly cute too. So if you guys don't follow her, please go follow her. Everybody, please give a mini cheer to my girl, Kendra Middleton.
Hi.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Oh, just getting ready to go to Jacksonville for this game. How we doing?
Oh my God, that's so exciting. Are you leaving tonight?
No, so I'm on the air from 7 to 9 tomorrow, and then I'm literally coming home, dropping my car off, letting the dog out, and Ubering to the airport. And then I'll be in Jacksonville until Wednesday. But I'm also going home for the Bengals game, so.
Okay, that's so fun. So, okay, you're staying home. Are you originally from there?
Born and raised in Jacksonville, yes.
Amazing. Okay, because I saw we had a little bit of conversation before, and you're saying that you were working and doing stuff in San Francisco, which I thought, okay, she must be like Bay Area, born and raised. I need to hear this. But yeah, so clearly you're a Jacksonville fan because you've lived there. Amazing. So talk a little bit about, okay, I did a little intro and talked about what you do in sports and everything, but just to give everybody a little tease on what you do and your journey into your career so far, where did it all begin?
Yeah, so it actually started in San Francisco, believe it or not. I was out there visiting some family in 2015. I was a senior in high school, about to graduate and go to college, and the game out in San Francisco offered me an internship. So I took it, was there for 16 months, was there for Super Bowl 50, covered the Sharks in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and spent a decent amount of time out there, made some good friends. The last time the Jags played the 49ers, it was Christmas, and I was also at that game, which was super fun. Yeah, so that's how the San Francisco thing started. And then after I finished my internship there, I wound up going to Auburn in Alabama, transferred from Auburn to a school up in New England. And then I've had my job since I was a junior in college, and I've just wound up staying up here. This market has been really great to me, and I'm having fun. I would love to go home and do something at home eventually. It's just such a small market for sports, and there's only one team that it's so hard to justify. But I would love to go home at some point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's the dream. Would you like to somehow be doing something with Jacksonville as well, like with the Jaguars?
Yeah, so I've done some stuff with one of their charities for kids a few times. So there's a charity called Head on Youth Impact that does a lot of stuff surrounding the Jags. And
Aw,
we've done like raffles to raise money for kids with cancer and stuff like that to go like to a game experience
amazing.
with me and all that kind of stuff. I'd love to do more with them or like any of their brand partnerships where, they kind of design clothes with this brand LaFave and stuff like that. That would be super fun. But yeah, if I could get more involved with them, that would be, obviously a childhood dream for me.
Yeah, oh, amazing. And so now you're actually doing a lot of stuff. You mentioned it before. You're hustling in radio. You have the show that you're doing tomorrow. All these different things. You're working with NESN, Dirty Water Media. I see all the stuff that you're doing, with your little mic and all that. What do you enjoy most about working in this industry?
Um, Definitely the girls that you get to meet. There aren't a ton of women in this industry and getting
Mm,
to day in and day out. I mean, it's honestly the best and the worst part about this job, right?
yeah.
You are constantly in a male dominated space. Most of your interviews that you have for jobs are people asking you if you even know the sport or if you even
Ugh,
follow it and kind of yeah, you know how it is.
yeah.
Which and the way people are online hiding behind a screen is obviously insane, but the best part
Mhm.
about it is just hoping and praying that because I'm willing to kind of take a few extra of those bullets, that it's easier for the next generation of young girls who want to be in sports. So I would say that's the best part about it. And other than that, definitely not working a desk job. I would
Yes.
hate to work a desk job.
Honestly, I've done it a few times and I'm like, 9 to 5 is just not for me. Like, I'd much rather stay up late and watch the sports. Like, I'm in Italy right now and all the sports are on at like 7 p.m. to like sometimes 6, 7, 8 a.m. Like, obviously on a Sunday if the primetime game goes really late. And I don't
Yeah,
even care. I'm like, I love this. I want to be up for this. This is my life. Like, I don't know how people do the 9 to 5. Kudos to them. Like, go get your bag, do what you got to do. But yeah, it's just not my thing. Of all
totally.
the things that you have done, all the gigs that you've been able to do, what has been your absolute favorite?
Ooh. I feel like I'm supposed to say all of the kids' charity events. I know that that's like the answer that everyone expects you to say. So outside of getting to work with some really cool charities and stuff like that, covering uh the Super Bowl in Tampa was probably the most fun because I know that this is a little controversial, but it was during COVID. I still had a job to do. I was employed. You have to take some of that with a grain of salt at times, regardless of how you feel about things. But the
Mm.
fact that it was a COVID Super Bowl and it was just all so insane and unprecedented and, just balls to the wall. We don't know if this is our last Super Bowl at the time. Like
Yeah.
it was so much fun. And that's probably my fondest memory outside of getting to work with kids and like young women and stuff like that. I feel like that's just a very diplomatic answer. So I didn't want to give that. But Super Bowl week is always something special.
Okay, so the kids thing is really cool because like I have 4 nephews. I now have my own daughter too, and like obviously kids just see life differently. It's just an amazing like watching them, enjoy sports and do things and just have this outlook on life that is so different than what we have is just amazing. Has there been a moment with a kid that kind of stands out for you?
Oh my gosh, this week so the New England Revolution were in the MLS playoffs and I work with them often and they
Hmm.
reached out to me to see if I wanted to do a giveaway for the game and
I saw that.
yeah, I was obviously like yeah. So I gave away these tickets and this guy tweeted me these really cute pictures of his kids and sent me some really nice messages and anytime, I mean there's so many things that I've done with like young girls, specifically like high school girls and stuff, wanting to start their own podcast and stuff. But
Mm,
recency bias, seeing this smile on this kid's face with sideline passes for the MLS playoff game with his little Rev sweatshirt was really cool.
I love that. And you just mentioned your podcast. So obviously you've been doing the Saturdays and Seltzers. I see you guys do it all the time. I absolutely love it. I saw your episode with Steffi Smalls. I had her on my podcast earlier when we played the Giants. Absolutely love her. So how
Such a
did the
queen.
podcast start?
So we are currently on a break right now just because I'm traveling so much for the Jags. And if you follow the radio scene, you know what's going on at my radio
Mm,
station right now. So kind of just needed a little bit more time to focus on other things. But we've been podcasting for 2 years. We'll be back. It's me, my friend Haley, and our producer Tyler.
mm.
And we originally had our friend Sarah on, but she took a job with the PLL. Things got busy. She just didn't have the time anymore. So Haley and I have been doing it for almost a year now. But Haley and I have been friends since college. I've known Haley since I was a junior. I'm now 27. Like, me and Haley have been through it. She's kind of hopping on the Jags bandwagon, but she's from
Amazing.
Boston, so it's a good time to kind of get off the Pats and onto the Jags.
Yes.
And yeah, so her and Tyler actually met through me and the show and are now dating, and their 1-year anniversary is coming up too. So
Little
it's been kind of, yeah, it's been kind of, I actually am. It's so funny you say that, because so many of my friends are now dating each other, and it's kind of crazy, but I'm here for it. It's just, when these two get married, I'm going to have to officiate the wedding. Like, I can't, what am I going to do? Like, stand in the middle awkwardly? I don't know.
Like Joey from Friends, you got to get your like marriage license, marry them. Why not?
I am an ordained minister already.
Are you?
Yes.
Dude, what?
It takes 10 minutes online.
I love it. That's amazing. I had no idea, but that's, yeah, I'm learning everything about you. Okay,
yeah,
you do so much. What's a typical day in the life of Kendra look like? I see all the dog posts. So, like, aside from the cutie dog, what else do you do in your life that's like you wake up and this is your day?
So I'm off earlier in the weeks, and then I work like Thursday through Sunday, but I do so many things that the beginning of the week are kind of like content days for me and stuff like that. I mean, you know how it is when you have a 9 to 5 and everything else that you do. I would say a typical day, wake up probably around 5:30, go into the station if I have to, do my job there. I go to the gym after that at the station, because we have a super nice gym at the station. Drive home, work the 9 to 5, hang out with the dog. I love to cook. I love to do all that kind of stuff. Outdoor activities, although I live in Boston and it's the worst time of year up here approaching, and I can feel the seasonal depression setting in. Of course, I'm going back to Florida this weekend, and I look at the schedule prepared to, check the weather app, see 80 degrees, me in my bikini top. No, it's going to be cold as hell.
No.
Of course, the 1 week that I'm there. So it's whatever. I get to go. I'm so lucky that I get to go home and see my mom whenever I want and go to games and stuff like that, get away from the cold weather. But I love to work hard, play hard. Definitely am a 5 to 9 before the 9 to 5 girly. Yeah. If I could give people one piece of advice, it would be to become a morning person. I swear to God.
Yeah, that's very true. I've become a morning person because of my daughter, and you get so much more done. Honestly, it's amazing. But okay. I was going to ask you, obviously I saw like where you're living and everything, and I thought, oh, how'd you become a Jags fan? I was going to ask you how, but you were born and raised there. So who, if anybody, was there somebody that kind of guided you towards being a Jags fan? Do you have anybody in your household that's like rah, 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 Jags?
Well, so the Jaguars started the fall of 95, and I was born winter of 96. When I was born at Baptist Hospital, they literally put me in a baby Jags onesie. That was quite literally the first thing ever put on my body. My mom still has it. I grew up in a sports household. My brother played D1 college football, grew up in a football house. It was just football all the time. We were not news people. If the TV was on in my house 24 hours a day, and it was on ESPN 24 hours a day, we watched D11 college baseball over anything else. If there was nothing else on, it did not matter. If it was summertime, sports were on at all times. And so that's kind of how I mean, my dad and my brother, so my brother and I are 10 years apart, so he didn't have the Jags as part of his childhood. So they grew up with the Dolphins, and the second the Jags came to town, it was like, all right, see you, Dan Marino, we're out of here, Jags forever.
Really?
Yeah, like diehard Jags fan. It was the first time that like Jacksonville kind of really had anything to be excited about. I don't know if people know this, but Disney World was actually supposed to be in Jacksonville instead of Orlando. And thank God it wasn't, because now we had like the infrastructure and facilities and stuff like that for a team. And it's been a freaking roller coaster over the last 27 years, man. I'll tell you that. All the London Jags jokes, all the first picks overall, all the quarterbacks, all the craziness. But yeah, my dad and my brother were definitely the people to keep me in the Jags like fandom. But as far as like a player or something like that, I've loved Maurice Jones-Drew my entire life. Always have, always will. Even watching him on the broadcast now, he's always been that guy for me. I'm the biggest Maurice Jones-Drew fan.
I love it. And okay, so you've obviously been to a bunch of games. What's the atmosphere like in that stadium?
It's changed a lot over the years, man. I'll tell you that. Like, I remember the first game that I was ever cognizant for, right? I mean, you go to games when you're a kid that your parents drag you to, you don't remember, like, you know that you went to games, whatever. The first game I ever really remember going to, can I swear?
Yeah, I already said fuck.
Okay, perfect.
When I was introducing you, I'm like, oh, fuck.
I was going to say, I went to watch the Jacksonville Jaguars in the early 2000s play the Detroit Lions in the early 2000s.
Oh, no.
And if you want me to sum up what being a lifelong Jags fan looks like, the Jaguars that day got their ass beat by the early 2000s Detroit Lions. So the trials and tribulations of this fandom have been something else, but now I remember, like the stadium just emptying after the first half when I was a kid, and now I was in the end zone for the Chargers game last year when they fell down like 26, 27, 28, nothing before the half. Not a fucking soul in that building left.
What?
Not one. Not one fucking person left that game. Down 28 nothing in the playoffs against the Chargers at home. I have literal chills all over my entire body. I have videos of that stadium from that game from the entirety of the day. There will never be anything in Jaguars history that I will talk about quite like that game, because nothing describes the resiliency of this fandom, the way that being down 28-0 after Trevor Lawrence threw 6 interceptions.
Ooh. Yeah, I watched that game. It was rough.
Oh my God.
That point.
Nothing like it. Nothing. Not a soul left that building, and that nothing will ever describe Jags fans better than that moment.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, yeah, you guys have been through it. Like I was going to say, I became a 49ers fan when, like Alex Smith was there and then Kaepernick took over that next year. So like for me, I've seen like winning seasons. We didn't really have any droughts other than with Chip Kelly. Like that was kind of shit.
Yeah.
And then like it started going back up again when we got Kyle Shanahan. So I can't really relate. I've not been a lifelong fan. Like I grew up in Vancouver. We watched the BC Lions. You know what I mean? That's what I had. So it wasn't the same, but I can kind of relate on like Canucks level. Like the Vancouver Canucks have kind of done that to me a little bit, like in what was it, 2011, we had the Boston Bruins came to town and like destroyed our whole town because we had the riot. It was terrible. And we were supposed to win the Stanley Cup. So like for me, that's what I can kind of like put it to. But yeah, no, I've kind of been through it. And I complain a lot as a San Fran fan, but like I have nothing
you
to complain about.
You cannot. You guys have the most insane roster and a quarterback that's making it work on the cheapest rookie deal. Like, dude, unreal. You guys have finessed it. You've got the coaching. I will not feel bad for y'all unless for some reason you cannot squeak a Super Bowl out of this. Then I might feel bad for you guys. But as of right now, no sympathy from your girl.
This is the thing, though. I've not witnessed a Super Bowl win. So we have 5 of them, but like everyone's like, oh yeah, I remember with, Joe Montana and Steve Young. I've not seen any of that. Like, so I mean, for me, I'm still like, I need a Super Bowl win in order to like feel like what it feels like to be a winner. I need that. But okay, so I think I know what you're going to say for this one. If you could go for a drink with any current or former Jags player, who would it be and why?
Ooh, current or former? I'm going to have to say,
Give me both.
Former, I don't know if people are going to know who this is. It would have to be Matt Jones. He was this wide receiver that they took in the early 2000s who basically just couldn't stay. He couldn't stay in the league because he had a coke problem. And I think that he is just such a funny human being. And I would love to know kind of how that transpired for him. But yeah, I think that he would definitely be my former player. He's basically like the Josh Gordon of cocaine, okay? And I think that is like hysterical. And so probably him, just because I'd love to pick his brain. Yeah. And I can't think of an instance where I'd be able to do that outside unless I made him. Yeah. And then current, maybe Andre Sisco or Rayshawn Jenkins. Actually, no, just kidding. Foye Oluokun, graduate from Yale. Leading the NFL in tackles right now. I would love to have a conversation with him just because he's cute, he's quirky, he's funny, he's a smart guy. I don't know a ton about him, just because he's kind of had this like rise this season. I think it'd be fun to get to know him a little bit better. I wish the media shed a little bit more light on him so far this season, just because he's having obviously a career year.
I didn't even know that. So I like that you said that because honestly, like you look up anything about the Jags, I've not even read into that.
Yeah, he's
Which is
incredible. So
nuts.
probably him, just because he's a smarty pants, and I love me a smart boy.
I love that. Okay, and then I asked you a little bit about like the vibe of the stadium and everything, but of all the games that you've been to, which one's the most memorable? Is it the one against the Chargers?
Has to be the Chargers game for
Yeah.
sure. Outside of that, I was at the. This is such a weird story. So the 2017 first playoff game for the Jaguars was at home against the Bills, and I bought a ticket 24 hours ahead of the game, and me and my boyfriend at the time got in the car and drove through the night from
Holy
Boston
shit.
to Jacksonville to go to this game. And the game's kind of winding down, comes down to the last minute. I don't remember who their quarterback was at the time, the starter. Might have been it was Tyrod Taylor. It was Tyrod Taylor. And he
Okay.
goes down, gets hurt, and Nate Peterman comes into the game. Nate Peterman, born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida. We went to middle school together. He would have been my
What?
quarterback in high school if I wasn't homeschooled. And our season lived on because homeschool kid Nate Peterman threw a pick to Jalen Ramsey to end the game.
Holy shit. That's incredible. What are the
Yep.
odds?
I know. So, I mean, it has to be the Chargers game, but outside of that, that's something that I'll never forget because I can't imagine being booed by the crowd in your hometown.
I know. That's wild. Oh God.
Yeah.
I kind of like it, but also feel really bad for him, but it is what it is. Okay.
I
we've
got to
got
give you the lineup of professional athletes from Jacksonville. Nathan Peterman, Grayson Allen, and there's one more that I hate and I can't remember. Oh, Mac Jones. All from Jacksonville.
No,
Grayson
Mac
Allen,
Jones?
Mac Jones, and Nate Peterman. That is our claim
Oh.
to fame. Those
Okay,
three
but
motherfuckers.
Mac Jones, what do you think about him? Honestly, now that you brought him up, because my husband is a huge Patriots fan, and he's just having the worst season. And I'm like, dude, you have nothing to complain about. He's witnessed so many Super Bowls. Like, shut the fuck up.
So based off of what I can say without getting in trouble with work, not a fan of him off the field whatsoever. He's had some legal trouble. If you want to look into all of that, feel free. He's had a lot of controversy in his young career. Him as a player, I just don't, and I know that the kids love to say that he just doesn't have that dog in him, but he doesn't. He just doesn't. I'm sorry. He's kind of a sissy. The way that I get that a high ankle sprain is one of the most painful things of all time, right? But those pictures of him screaming like that will live on. I use that meme far too often. We watched Aaron Rodgers tear his Achilles, walk off the field, and nothing. Okay.
He looks like he's ready to play again, by the way.
I know. And the fact that he just is always about the drama, always complaining about something, doesn't take initiative to own up to his mistakes, the turnover problems. I get that last year was an awful situation for him, but after this year there's really no excuse for me. And people love to talk about how awful his offensive line is and his lack of weapons and blah blah blah. I don't want to hear it. Honestly, shut the fuck up, because Tua made those weapons work for him when they were on the Miami Dolphins. His weapons are good enough. I don't want to hear it. Good quarterbacks make the people around them better, and you're not making people around you better. You're making people around you worse. You've lost the locker room. You've lost the coaching staff. I don't understand what kind of dirt that Mac Jones has over, I don't know if it's Bill, I don't know if it's Bill O'Brien. I don't know if it's Bill Belichick. I don't know if it's Robert Kraft. Put somebody else in there. Why are you holding on to Will Grier and Malik Cunningham that you just signed a 3-year extension? And who else do they have on their roster right now? Bailey Zappi. You have all of these guys. You've signed all of these young people. What the fuck are you waiting for anymore? Like, throw the playbook at the fucking wall. Let's see it. You have nothing to lose. If they lose to the Colts this weekend in Germany and the Crafts do not fire Bill Belichick, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Is that what you think will happen? You honestly think they'll fire him?
The Crafts have sponsorships in Germany. This is a home game for them.
Shit.
The Patriots own the rights to be the Germany team.
Right.
This is the same thing with the Jags in London, all of that stuff. It is, this is it. And I think that honestly, after what happened last year with not only the coaching staff, but the way that everything between Mac and Bailey Zappi was handled, he should have been fired for that. He should have been fired for this draft class. He should be, dude. I said
The
2
tea,
years
I
ago.
love it.
I said 2 years ago that Bill needed to go before he tarnished his legacy, and everyone online drug me for that. Absolutely drug me through the mud. And you know what I have to say to that now? Suck my ass.
Honestly, I've literally been saying, because like, again, Hubby's been like, oh no, it's like Bill was nothing without Brady. And I honestly am starting to believe it way more and more. And I said exactly that to him earlier. I was like, you know what? I think that Billy Boy's just got to retire. Like, I think he's done. I think this is just it. Like,
The
it's
league's
kind of
past
sad that
him.
he keeps going. Yeah. Like, he's
It's passing by.
outdated. It's sad. Like, go out with a legacy. Like, stop. Whatever you're doing, just stop. Anyways, we could go on and on about
Well,
this.
I mean, now there's rumors that he's going to get traded to Washington. So we'll see.
Why doesn't he just give it up, man? Like, at this point, I don't think he knows anything other than football.
I have even more tea, and because of my job, I don't know if this is Bill. I'm not saying it is. It's already on the internet, so I'm just bringing it up. There have been rumors of him participating in extracurricular activities outside of football with some beverages and some young ladies, and there was a video of a Ring doorbell that was surfaced of who may be Bill Belichick doing a walk of shame yesterday.
Oh, no.
So I'm not saying it's Bill. I'm not saying anything. If you want to independently do your own research, do it. Let me know what you think.
Is he married?
That's the tea. No. Him and his long-term girlfriend allegedly broke up earlier this year.
Okay, so he's just doing his thing, having some fun. Whatever.
Who's to say?
Maybe he's just got to put football down and focus on other things and enjoy his life a little bit, right?
Who's to say? I know nothing.
The tea is hot. I love it. Okay. We've got to get into our matchup this weekend. We've got a huge matchup. You guys are coming off like an incredible, you guys had the bye at the same time that we had the bye. We needed it because we were completely banged up, disheveled. Our quarterback had a concussion. He played when I argue that he should not have played. A lot of our big dudes like Debo and Trent Williams were out because of injuries. So the bye week was like the best thing that could have happened to us. You guys, on the other hand, were on a 5-win winning streak, which is incredible. 5-game winning streak. And it all started in London. I went to the game against the Bills, which fucking was amazing, by the way. I was rooting for you guys because I have a lot of I have Lawrence and Etienne and all these guys on my fantasy league. So do you play fantasy football, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, amazing. So your guys are killing it for me. I'm loving it. That game was incredible. The vibe was just electric. Every time Trevor Lawrence stepped on the field, everybody was going nuts. A lot of people were not wanting the Bills to win that one. I'm very happy they didn't. Looking back on the season so far, what's your honest opinion of the team?
I will say I do think this is a bigger game for the 49ers than it is for the Jags for a lot of reasons. But reflecting on the season so far, I would say my biggest takeaways are I never expected to be sitting here in week 10 saying that the defense has outperformed this offense. Never in a million years did I think that that's what I would be saying right now if you asked me before week 1. But that's absolutely true. This defense has played up to most of their opponents so far this season, and I'm very impressed, especially considering the injuries to the secondary and Andre Cisco and what have you. I would say I needed Trayvon Walker to take more of a jump than he has so far this year in his second season. I would love the pass rush to be doing more. Josh Allen's obviously working for a contract. He's put in really good work. I just need more from the pass rush. That is a huge takeaway from me so far this year. The fact that they didn't add someone, especially considering what you guys got Chase Young for at the trade deadline, is insane to me. And I'm very frustrated about it. I will say I did love that they added another lineman in Ezra Cleveland. And this is only the second game so far this season that their preferred offensive starting lineup on the line is going to be together. So I think that that's definitely a benefit for the Jags. And my other takeaway would probably be just, people love to kind of hate on Trevor, but people don't realize that if you just watch the box score, you have no idea what's actually going on in the game. Don't be a box score watcher and try and talk about what's actually going on. People love to talk about Trevor's turnovers, true, but they also don't consider that every single year of Trevor's career, the team has either led the league in dropped passes or been in that, bottom 2, 3, 4 situation for most drop passes in the league. So I think that Trevor obviously needs to work on the turnovers, but his receivers need to do him some favors.
Yeah.
My like I said though, my biggest takeaway is that the defense has just played leaps and bounds better than I thought they would. The offense has definitely played down to their opponent at times.
So on NFL.com, literally all the analysts have the Niners winning, which to me, like, I actually hate it. It's usually a curse. Like, you see it all the time on, like,
Yep.
oh, all these fucking analysts pick your team, and then for whatever reason we end up losing. So you guys haven't lost since September. Some of you guys are saying that, like, or your guys' side is saying that it's due. The defense on our side obviously got a bit better. You mentioned it too. Chase Young is now on the roster. How do you think that Lawrence will fare against the 49ers rebound D? Do you think that it's going to make a difference?
So I think that the bye week also came for a really good time for the Jaguars just because the offensive line was really banged up. Brendan Scherf had some problems throughout the season. Walker Little's back. Like I said, they signed Ezra Cleveland, which is huge because the offensive line really needed some help. As far as Trevor facing this defense, I think that they need to score first possession. Whoever scores first is probably going to be the winner for me. The biggest question mark that I have is who's going to win the turnover battle. As long as Trevor doesn't give up some of these ugly turnovers that we've seen him kind of cough up, I think that that's going to be huge. I think getting the run game going is going to be the biggest difference maker on offense. I know that Trevor plays really well when teams kind of force him into man against zone. He loves to play against teams that will run zone. So who's to say how that's kind of going to shake out for the 49ers? But I would say the run game and not coughing up turnovers is the obvious answer here. But this defense and the pass rush that you guys have, I think is going to cause some problems. I'm just happy that this offensive line seems to be a little bit healthier. It's their preferred matchup. I'm hoping to get Ezra Cleveland some early snaps. And I think that if Trevor has time and the receivers can actually hold on to the ball and maybe Calvin Ridley can look like he did the first week of the season, I will say I will really, really like the opportunity that the Jaguars will have if Zay Jones comes back. Nobody really talks about him on this offense just because you're comparing him to people like Christian Kirk, like Calvin Ridley, like Evan Engram, who have been Christian Kirk and Evan Engram have been the most, reliable guys in this offense. Calvin's had some issues, some drop problems, what have you. But Zay and Trevor are very good friends off of the field. And that chemistry certainly shows when Trevor's panicking and can't find somebody, can't make a decision. Zay is always his guy. He outworks every single person on that field. He gives 110% effort. He knows if his feet are inbounds or an inch too far on the boundary if he's caught in those situations in the end zone. So if he plays, I will feel very confident that Trevor has his, I'm not going to say security blanket just because I feel like that's the Kirk and Evan Engram situation, but to have someone that you trust and rely on, I think would be huge because he's been out for quite some time and you really miss him when you're watching the games if you know how the Jaguars like to operate their offense. And I would say that I need Press Taylor to call a better game. The play calling at times for this team has been fucking ridiculous. And I have almost thrown my... I am not an emotional sports fan in the fact that I scream and yell and throw things. But goddamn, there have been times watching Press Taylor call plays this season that I have been like, what the fuck? Like, what is... I could call a better game than this, and I'm a defensive football girly.
Like, you in, man?
So, very long-winded answer. But winning the turnover battle, scoring early, not falling behind, and getting the run game going, I think if they do that, here's the thing. Throughout my entirety of a Jags fan, they'll lose to teams that they shouldn't, and they'll beat the wheels off of teams that they have no business beating. And that's just always been the way that it is. I had this as an L on our schedule. If it's a dub, awesome. Love to be there. Love to see it. I realize the team that they're playing. But I'm pretty optimistic at this point, to be honest, just because I know that the Jags beat teams that they shouldn't year in and year out. I look at the season that they only won 2 games, got the first pick when they drafted Trayvon Walker, and they beat the freaking Bills at home and had no business doing it when they were the Super Bowl favorite. They beat the Colts and the Bills that season, and that was fucking it. That was it. Yeah. And so I have faith. I'm going to be there in the cat suit. We'll see.
I'm pumped. I saw your picture of your suitcase with the cat suit in it. And I said, everybody look out for her because she's going to be there. So exciting. I'm jealous you're going to be at that game. But, okay, you mentioned it. You guys obviously have Travis Etienne, and I have him in a few of my leagues. He's like my guy of the season for fantasy. He's like totally carried the team. And my cousin, he's funny. He's like, I'll trade you CMC for him. But then like he wants me to give up a bunch of other dudes too. And I'm like, no, I just because I love CMC, I'm not giving you Travis Etienne because he's been amazing.
Who do you think I am?
I know, because I'm like the overall team vibe. He wants to take Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, nah, I'm not giving that guy up. Anyways, the 49ers, Randy, you mentioned it. They used to be amazing. Last season, we ranked number 2. This season, we're 18th right now, which is absolutely pathetic. So I do think that we're kind of on a bit of a decline when it comes to that. We'll see what happens now that we've got Chase Young in there and everything. But what do you expect out of ETN in this one?
I expect him to continue to play super well. There's been a lot of discourse kind of surrounding who they thought Tank Bigsby was going to be for them, and JaMycal Hasty's obviously moved into the conversation of maybe being that second back in that system. But it doesn't even seem like Travis needs it at any point in time. When he had his injury, there's kind of this difference you can tell in his game after he tore his Achilles. His feet no longer point forward. One of them kind of points out, which has led to him being able to juke people out a little bit better because they can't tell when he's on or off balance. And so he kind of runs like a duck at this point, and it makes him a little bit harder to tackle. You can go back and watch some of his film from college and some of it now. He runs differently than he did in college. But I think the fact that he can, stay out there for even 3 snaps at times, I think that he is the most important piece to the Jaguars offense this week. I get that I should probably say Trevor not having any turnovers, but I worry more on the Jags play calling to have Travis more involved, which is what they need to do. So I'm expecting 80 yards and a touchdown from Travis this weekend. Probably. I would say that's about where I would be comfy with him.
Nice. Okay. I'm here for it for my fantasy league, but like other than that, no more. Now on our side of the ball, Brock Purdy has been a hot topic. I don't know if you've seen it, but like obviously I deal with it a lot. I see like all the faithful are either on board with Brock Purdy or they're not. A lot of them are like, why did we give Trey Lance away? And like, look, I was all about Trey Lance, but like we're riding with Brock Purdy. He was somebody that stepped in after 2 injuries last season for us. And now like he's not looking the greatest. He's on a 3-game losing streak. A lot of people are asking to bench him. Like there's all these discourses going on right now that I've had my head kind of wanting to explode. But from an outsider's perspective, like from you, somebody who isn't a fan of this team, what's your honest assessment of Purdy?
I think that he's been great. I mean, you look at the kind of dumpster fire that he was tossed into late in the season last year. And I think that he's handled it like an absolute seasoned pro from start to finish. The kid had a freaking concussion and kind of just sacked up and did his job. I get that he's on a 3-game losing streak, but people don't realize what it's like last year was his rookie year, but this is kind of rookie year 2.0. You got tossed into the hardest part of the season and were expected to perform as just an absolute infant in this league. And the fact that he's been able to take on this offense, build relationships, be a yes man, I think that his contract obviously helps out a lot too. The fact that people are even hating on him right now, considering everything that he's done for this organization and not complained a lick about it, I think that he's your best. What are you going to do? Sam Darnold? Like, no. No, that makes less sense. That makes way less sense. The people who even have that argument don't watch football.
No. Thank you. Oh, thank God. You know what? Honestly, it's sometimes I feel like I'm being biased and I'm like, dude, like, do you even watch? All these people are like, put Sam Darnold in. I'm like, yeah, because he's going to get the win. Like, come on. And they're all saying, oh, he's a system quarterback. I don't give a fuck if he's a system quarterback. He wins. Other than these last 3 weeks, which I would argue a lot of situations that happened were not his fault. The 49ers defense in the game against the Vikings let up like over 400 yards to like Kirk Cousins and the Vikings at that point. Like, obviously Kirk is now injured and pray for him to get better. But honestly, like you can't pin a game where like the defense is giving up that much on the other side of the ball. Like that's just poor Brock Purdy. Anyways,
yeah,
it's nice to hear it. Thank you. Praise.
Yeah. Even if you compare him, and I'm comparing him to last year's rookies and this year's rookies, just because I think that that's kind of the only fair thing to do at this time. But who is outperforming him out of these young guys that have kind of been thrown into the fire the last 2 seasons? Out of maybe you could argue Josh Dobbs. Maybe you could argue that. Sorry, if you hear my dog having a nightmare in the background, it is like actually so loud. Like he is like screaming right now.
I heard something and I'm like, what is that?
His
having the
body's like
time.
vibrating. Sorry about that. But so if you hear whining, that's what it is.
We love it.
But yeah, I just don't get. There is no argument for anyone outside of maybe Josh Jacobs performing him as a young quarterback in the last two seasons in this league. There's no conversation for it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, you've touched on this a little bit, but I'm going to hand the ball over to you. What are Kendra's 3 keys to getting the dub for the Jaguars on Sunday against the 49ers?
I think I've said them already, but I'm going to say score the opening drive. You cannot fall behind. You've got to get it going and not lose that steam. Win the turnover battle and win the run game. Those are my 3 takeaways. You cannot turn the ball over. That pass rush is going to come for Trevor. They're going to try and force him to fumble the ball. I'm not sure if I said it on this show or the last show that I was on. I think Trevor only has 4 interceptions so far this season, but he's got a ton of fumbles. And that 49ers pass rush, man, they're going to try and make you fumble the ball. So hold the ball tight, grip it, be a man. And the run game is the big thing for me. Travis has to be active early and often. And I was sitting here racking my brain trying to think what position group the Jaguars have over the 49ers. And man, was that a tough task. The only real thing that I could think of was the quarterback position and maybe at guard. That's about it. Other than that, if the secondary is healthy, I'd probably give the Jags the secondary option as well. But outside of that, it's a battle, man. And the thing is, I said this earlier, but it is a bigger game for the 49ers than it is for the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Because if Seattle wins, that is hell for you guys. But also, if the Jaguars beat the 49ers, the national discourse is just going to be, well, the Jags got lucky. Maybe the 49ers weren't that great. Maybe it was an off day. They're never going to give us our flowers. They never have. They never will. It's going to be the same old Jaguars. They got it doesn't matter. I watched it after the Bills game. I've been watching it for 27 years. It'll be the same old shit. National media is never going to give us our flowers. But it is a more important game for the 49ers than it is for the Jaguars because our reputation is going to be what it is. People are going to doubt us until we win a Super Bowl. And even then, the conversation's still going to be the same. But as far as, because the AFC South is not open, the NFC is a shit show and not in a good way.
No, I know. I was going to say, like, you guys are sitting pretty up at the top of the AFC South, and that's nice. But for us, it's like dog eat dog kind of. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And especially
the AFC South
on our ass.
Yeah. As long as, God forbid, fucking something happened, the AFC South, it's fine. Y'all, Seattle's kind of a wagon.
Ugh, don't even get me started. So I grew up in Vancouver. Everybody's a fucking Seahawks fan in Vancouver, and I can't. Like, I don't even want to. Everybody, after they won their Super Bowl, they're all wearing tags with, like, their hats with their tags on. And I'm like, okay, you've been a fan for this season. And now all of them are like, oh, we won a Super Bowl before, like, in the last little, like, 10 years, and you guys haven't won anything. And I can't handle it. I don't even want to talk about them. I hate them. I can't.
Yeah, I know that they've looked really beatable at times this season, but when they look good, they look really good and they compete. So, you know, it's the NFL. Any team can win it any week, but if the playoffs are right now, I am not betting against Pete Carroll and his gum chewing. I'll tell you that for free.
Fucking Pete Carroll.
Okay, I love him.
I know. I can't stand him, but I also like him. Like, it's one of those love-hate things. Anyways, for fantasy purposes, I like to ask a little, like, spicy start and sit suggestions. So for you, looking at the Jags, who would be your definite start?
I would say start ETN and Christian Kirk, bench Calvin Ridley.
Ooh, okay. I have Ridley, so that's good to know. He's going to be my
bench
flex.
Ridley.
Yeah? Okay. Awesome.
I have been waiting for him to have a game outside of week 1, and it just hasn't happened. So if you have an option that can get you more than 5 points, Calvin Ridley sitting on my bench until he proves to me that he's ready to be out of timeout.
Okay, but when does he prove that? Because honestly, he's one of those guys that I never know if I should start him or not. In your opinion, what needs to be done in order for him to get the start?
Catch the fucking ball. It hits you in the hands. Hold on to it. For the love of God, stop greasing your gloves before the games. That's all. That's it. That's literally it. These box score watchers literally sit on this national media bullshit and will sit here and be like, Calvin Ridley's having a great season. He's leading the team in catches, blah, blah, blah. He's leading the team in drops, bitch.
He is. He's 100% terrible. Like, he's Mr. Butterfingers. Like, I don't know what's going
on
with
him. And I love him. He brings an attitude to the team that I think that they lost a bit with Arden Key and some of these other guys over the last, season or two. And I like the attitude. I think this team needs grit because Trevor Lawrence cannot talk shit and he's kind of a chicken. So the more hardos that I can surround him with, the better. But damn, dude, it's time to start putting your money where your mouth is, because at the time this felt like a steal. And now I'm like, well, damn, we're giving the Falcons some shit here. So
fucking preach, man. Okay, last question, because I absolutely love to end on like a super positive, inspiring note. And like you do a lot with children, and like you mentioned it with the girls and everything too. So I love this. So you've done so much in sports. You truly inspire even me. Like I see everything you're doing. I'm like, holy shit, like I want to get to where you're at right now. And if there's somebody that's kind of looking up to you, like any little girls out there that are like hoping to do all the things that you're doing someday, what advice would you have to any of those girls or anybody in sports who want to kind of follow in your footsteps and have a career in this industry someday?
Don't wait for opportunities to come to you. Ask for them. If you want something, ask. Every opportunity that I've ever had, I've gotten on the internet because I've DM'd somebody and asked. I've never been given a job through anything that I've applied for. No LinkedIn this, no applications, none of that bullshit. Put out your own content, slide into somebody's DMs. I swear to God, I got my first internship because I reached out to somebody at the game and just made friends with them. I got this job because I made friends with somebody and the producer started listening to my podcast. My last job I got because I went to an event and I knew who was coordinating it, and I went up to them and was like, I'm looking for work. If you have it, call me. Do not wait for opportunities to come to you. Be a go-getter, ask for what you want. And truly, if you're a girl, like, this industry is tough and it'll kick your ass and you'll be asked to do things and said, like, the comments that have to be filtered out on the shows that I'm on are horrific, but it is so worth it when that one girl is like, thank you. So ask for opportunities, be kind, be humble. That's it. That's truly like, go get what you want and don't let anybody tell you that you can't have it, because you can.
Fuck yeah. Love it. Okay. Where can everybody go follow you on social media?
You can find me on anything at Kendra Middleton except for Twitter. It's Kenny with an I Middleton there. Other than that, I'm everywhere. I have all the things. Let's be friends. I love interacting with people. I'm sure you get this too. Like, I'm at a place where like I don't feel like I have fans just because I hate that word. But I just want to be friends with everybody. Like, I want to talk to people. I want to have discourse. Like, I want to like shoot the shit. So I don't believe in that fan stuff. We're friends. Find me. Let's connect. Don't be strangers. This was super fun.
She is amazing. Honestly, go follow her, not just for like all her sports takes, which are phenomenal. You were like, you blew me away. Like, honestly, I'm sitting here, I'm like, holy shit, your team is actually incredible. Because all the stuff I looked at online, they don't know the analysis that you do with the friggin' feet thing with what's his name.
That's what I'm saying. The national media doesn't give a shit about the Jaguars. And even if they win a Super Bowl, nobody's ever going to care. Nobody. No. So you know what?
I'll care for you. No, I'll care for you. Honestly, if they ever win, I'm literally going to be like, fuck yeah, Kendra. Like, anyways, thank you so much for joining me. This was amazing. I'm honestly looking forward to the game. Good luck to you guys. And it's all love between us. Don't worry. If you see me tweeting away bullshit, don't worry.
I'm going to be texting you during this game. I'm going to be high as fuck in the crowd, in the cat suit, sending you videos, I swear to God. So, like, we can have friendly beef. I love the banter. I'm here for it. I will be annoying the shit out of you during this game.
I love it. Honestly, have the best time. Thank you again, Kendra. Yeah, we'll talk to you later. Sure. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. That was absolutely incredible. It's been obviously a week. This is the first live I've done, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Next week, we've got Baker's Buccaneers, and I have a little surprise for everyone. I'm going to keep it hush-hush, but keep it locked here, and you guys will learn about that. I might do a little live, and we'll see what's up. But my next guest is somebody I honestly go to for daily laughs. He's an absolute ray of sunshine. I cannot wait to have him on. He's so amazing. He's given me a lot of advice on being a parent and everything. So be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, all the things. I appreciate it, and I love you guys. And as always, I'm sending you all the good vibes for your fantasy wins this season.